Have you ever played a game before and just been so in love with it that you just couldn't wait for a sequel or a new game in the same style? Everyone has experienced this at some point, and the wait for said game is one of the most antagonizing times ever. But sometimes the wait is totally worth it, while other times we're still waiting for that game, and then sometimes... fuck. Video game sequels are some of the most anticipated and highly requested types of games to ever exist. Everyone will play a game and have so much fun, and all of a sudden rumors will pop up of a sequel game in development. I can't tell you the number of times I played NBA Live 05 and thought to myself, man, I really hope they follow this up with a new game. Holy shit! Even though sequels are some of the most wanted games, sometimes just a specific series is heavily requested for a new system. I got the idea for this video after the recent announcement for Breath of the Wild 2, along with the delay for Metroid Prime 4 and Animal Crossing on the Switch. All of these games have been requested for years on years, especially Animal Crossing, since it's been a while since we got an actual game on a home console. That doesn't count. So today, I'm going to talk about a bunch of games that either are heavily wanted by the community or just some games that I personally really want. Be warned, some of my ideas are really unlikely, but I still want them and this is my video, so deal with it. These will all be games wanted for the Nintendo Switch, and I will try to avoid HD remakes as much as possible because I don't know about you, but I personally would much rather have a whole new adventure opposed to just a rehash of something I've already played. Plus, I made a video months ago about games that need to be ported to the Switch, and that's basically just what an HD remake is for some games. So now, with all of that out of the way, let's get into this. Breath of the Wild was the biggest game for one of the biggest Nintendo franchises ever, so it only made sense for it to receive a sequel. Well, how about a sequel for the biggest Nintendo franchise and its big adventure on the Switch? Super Mario Odyssey feels like it's almost guaranteed to get a sequel in the next year or two. I'll be honest, I originally didn't think it was going to get a sequel because I expected way more DLC than just Luigi's Balloon World and this shit. If this game had have gotten a new kingdom or two to explore as DLC, then I would highly doubt they would even bother making a sequel. But because we got literally nothing, I would be shocked if we didn't get a sequel. Plus, it kinda just feels like the same thing that happened with Super Mario Galaxy. For that game, the developers said that they wanted to create new galaxies for DLC for that game, but they just kept coming up with new ideas and turned it into a whole new game in Super Mario Galaxy 2. It was also because the Wii wasn't powerful enough to receive DLC, but there shall be no Wii slander on this channel, so shut up. And since I already know somebody will bring it up in the comments, if we don't get a Super Mario Odyssey 2, I would be more than happy with a Super Mario Sunshine 2 or Super Mario Galaxy 3, even though I think those are extremely unlikely. If those games get any representation, it would probably just be a post-game kingdom like Super Mario 64 got with the first Odyssey. But if we do get an HD kingdom of either Delfino Plaza or the Comet Observatory, oh my god, I might cry. Pretty much every major Nintendo franchise has some sort of representation on the Switch, but one franchise that still needs a game is Star Fox. Now let me preface this by saying they should not port over Star Fox Zero from the Wii U. If you haven't played that game, consider yourself lucky and just take my word for it. Fuck that game. What I would expect from Nintendo is for them to make a new Star Fox game in the same vein and style as that game, but just, how do I put this? Not control like absolute dog shit. If they can make the game look as good as Star Fox Zero did, but just with good controls for both the TV and handheld mode, we could get an incredible Star Fox adventure, even though it'll basically just be the same game for like the 8th time. Every Star Fox game is basically the same with a third-person shooter in space, except for one. It's a bit of a controversial opinion, but Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube is one of the best in the entire series, and I would personally prefer a new title similar to that game, preferably where we can play as Crystal for longer than like 20 minutes. That's the worst part of that game, because everyone wanted to play as her either for just some variety or because they were a furry and just wanted to fuck her. But if we could get a grand Star Fox adventure with multiple characters like Fox, Falco, Crystal, and maybe more, it could maybe be the best in the entire series. Pikmin 4. Where the fuck is it? Shigeru Miyamoto is on record saying Pikmin 4 was, quote, very close to completion. That was back in 2015, and we haven't heard anything since then. Now, it is entirely possible that he was just talking about the next Pikmin game in general, which would have been Hey Pikmin, and that came out in 2017. And, okay, fair enough. But later, Nintendo said again Pikmin 4 was, quote, in development, but that is all we can confirm at present. And again, we haven't heard jack shit since then. Pikmin isn't Nintendo's biggest IP, but it is definitely one of the best with a pretty substantial fan base. Every Nintendo Direct and E3, people are clamoring and just begging for Nintendo to reveal the game, and it is yet to happen. Pikmin 3 was incredible, and you could go as far to maybe say it might even be the best game on the Wii U. It has been 6 years since the release of that game, and I am starting to lose hope that we will ever see a Pikmin 4. But then I remember that we're also getting Metroid Prime 4 nearly 15 years later after Prime 3 was released, so really anything is possible. Pokemon is making its way to the Switch this November with the first brand new generation of Pokemon on a home console. I know Let's Go was on the Switch last year, but those games were still technically Generation 7. These games have been heavily anticipated since the reveal, even though some people seem to think these games are ruined over a few minor inconveniences. I understand not being happy over the National Dex, but you don't have to harass Junichi Masuda on every tweet he makes. Also, that one tree? Who gives a shit? It's one fucking tree. Get over it. Sorry, I got a little off topic there. Anyways, a game that I and many others really want is a brand new Pokemon Stadium game. Pokemon Battle Revolution wasn't bad, but it just wasn't the same as Stadium 1 and 2. And that game came out 13 years ago, so it's about time we get a new Stadium game. It doesn't have to have all nearly 900 Pokemon after Gen 8. I mean, if they can't fit them all in Sword and Shield, there's no fucking way they'll do it for a side game. But just making a new game with all the classic modes and maybe some new ones would be incredible. Oh, and we can't forget about the mini-games. In fact, I'd buy a game of only the mini-games. Those games are fun as hell. Wait, imagine a Mario Party clone, but just with Pokemon and those mini-games. Game Freak, I'm available for hire if you need me. And speaking of Mario Party, how about a Mario Party 11 that's actually good? Super Mario Party was okay, I guess, but that doesn't really make up for the disaster that was Mario Party 9 and 10. We need to go back to the roots of Mario Party with great boards, minigames that required skill, some small luck elements, and just a game that makes you want to kill your friends. Isn't that what Mario Party is all about? Oh, and bring back the little costumes everyone wore in Mario Party 2. That might seem like a tiny detail, which it is, but it adds a lot more personality to the characters and it was just a nice touch. And since we're on the topic of Mario again, I have seen so many people request a Mario Kart 9 to come out for the Switch, and I honestly agree. Yes, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did come out on the Switch just 2 years ago, but that was really just the Wii U's Mario Kart ported over. The Switch still doesn't really have a Mario Kart to call its own. I've gotten sick of Mario Kart 8 at this point, and we really haven't gotten any new Mario Kart since it came out in 2014. Yes, there's Mario Kart Tour, but I don't really consider that a main Mario Kart title. It's been 5 years since Mario Kart 8 came out, which I think feels like plenty of time for a new game. I need some brand new courses and some new characters. Take out some of the duplicates like Metal Mario, Tanuki Mario, Gold Mario, Cat Peach, Pink Gold Peach, the Koopa Links. Holy f***, there are a lot of clone characters. If you want to keep them, just make them alternate costumes like all the different Yoshi colors, but don't make them their own characters. That takes up so much space for others to get their chance to shine. And honestly, they don't even have to be Mario characters. We already have Link, Villager, and the Inkling, so why not add some others like Kirby and have him ride his Warp Star, or someone like Captain Falcon? No, not ride Captain Falcon, you know what I mean. Or better yet, just make a new F-Zero game. F-Zero GX came out in 2003, 16 years ago. Captain Falcon is basically just turned into a Smash-only character, and there are probably kids out there who think he doesn't even have his own game. We got 2 F-Zero courses in Mario Kart 8, so why not just make a whole game? I know it's a big stretch to go from 2 courses to a whole game, but I know they can do it. I know we already got a Kirby game for the Switch with Star Allies, but that was a pretty standard and basic Kirby game. I want a unique Kirby game with some crazy idea like Epic Yarn or Planet Robobot. Too many Kirby games feel like the same thing over and over. Don't get me wrong, those games are fun as hell, but variety is the spice of life. Give me something I would never expect from Kirby the way I didn't expect Planet Robobot, and I'll be happy. Or like I sort of brought up in the Mario Kart section, make Kirby Air Ride 2. Any of those options and I will be ecstatic. A new Kid Icarus game. That's it, I got nothing else to say. It's been 7 years since Uprising came out and I just want a new game in the series. I know based on the gap between the last game and Uprising that the next game should probably come out in 2033, but I can't wait that long. I will be 36 years old if that's when it comes out, and more importantly, the world could be gone by global warming, so I need it now. Now this next one, I am 100% certain tons of people will agree with me since I've seen so many people request it. Super Mario Strikers on the Switch. The first 2 Mario Striker games were the best Mario sports titles ever, and we need a third to complete the trilogy. They've already made a Mario Tennis game on the Switch after the shitstorm that was Ultra Smash, so why not make a new sports game in a series that people actually want? No disrespect to Mario Tennis Aces, but nobody asked for it. Strikers Charged came out 12 years ago, so it's time for it to make a return, and I won't even rush them. They can wait until 2022 to release it so it could coincide with the next World Cup. That would make a ton of sense. It could push sales even more. Again, Nintendo, I'm available for hire if you need me. There are a ton of Nintendo games that are requested every year, but those are just a few of the ones that I've seen most requested or just predicted year after year after year. I personally believe that every game that I just mentioned could happen. Maybe not Kirby Air Ride 2, but all the others I think could happen. Now I'm going to go over a few games that I personally really want, but I just don't think they have as good of a chance to happen. But remember, this is my opinion. And it probably won't happen anyway, but just please listen. I know we just got Sonic Team Racing, so it is highly unlikely we get another Sonic Racing game anytime soon, but I really want a new Sonic Riders game similar to the first two games. They were so much fun, were a great part of my childhood, and it could really be a great end to the trilogy. You might say, but there is a third game. Shh, we don't talk about Free Riders over here. A Paper Mario game in the same style as Thousand Year Door and the N64. Super Paper Mario isn't a bad game, but Sticker Star? I've made a whole video on my feelings about that game, so I won't talk about it here. Spoilers, the game fucking sucks. But I want a game with 8 chapters, turn-based battling, partners to travel with, and a big overworld to explore and not just a map. It doesn't have to be Thousand Year Door 2, although I love that, but just a true Paper Mario RPG would make so many people happy. And I know I said I wouldn't mention any HD remakes, but I just need to bring this one up in every video I can so it can hopefully eventually happen. Skyward Sword HD. Nintendo, I beg. I would do anything to see this game in HD on the Switch. Nobody probably agrees with me since this is one of the more controversial Zelda games, but it is my personal favorite and I would die to see it remade in HD. And just to make everyone not hate me, I'd be okay with an Ocarina of Time HD, Majora's Mask HD, or ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. Now you can't be mad at me. Video games are a huge part of all of our lives, so it only makes sense that we would all want some brand new sequels to some of our favorite titles. Whether you follow video games religiously like me, or you're just a casual fan, we have all wanted some ridiculous game before. I just hope for all of your sakes and for my sake that all of our dreams can become reality and we can see these games become real before it's too late. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll just be sitting over here waiting for Banjo 3E. I mean, he's finally coming to Smash, so it's gotta be any day now.